one of the wonderful things that Podsquad has created, there is a really open dialogue within the females. Yes. I'm sure if the men heard the conversations that we have in the change rooms, they would be like, what? Do you talk about that in the change rooms? Like, it's a very open, unique group of people. But I think that's because swimming and not necessarily just swimming, but when you're in your bathers at the ocean, you're pretty vulnerable. So I think that you open yourself up to have that conversation, or to be present when a conversation is happening, and maybe take that home and resonate over it. And then the next time you might come back. So I think there's definitely an appetite, because I know for the number of women and girls that we've swum with at Podsquad and then gone up for coffee, quite often at the end of that coffee, someone does stick around just to talk about, actually, I am having this problem, and I mentioned, and I remember you mentioned XYZ. So
Well, we literally say, it's a line I've stolen from Maria Halpin's Meeting for Minds mental health group. They had a movie called Pieces, and in the movie, or the promo, or the brochure, one of the lines was, everyone is going through something. And
100%.
And of course, we've had Podsquad going now since, just before COVID, and we've had marriage breakups, makeups, births, deaths, cancers, but there's so people, all sorts of people going through things, and people are going through it right now. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and that sense of connection and sharing and support and caring, it's many times, I know that you might be talking to someone just and there's an aside, and there's all sorts of stuff going on, and we know, and again, this is a talk I did with Maria in May in the mental health forum they ran down there. I just Googled all the information on ocean swimming and mental health, and now there's a pile of stuff around cold water. But in fact, besides the physical stuff and the cold water and the breathing, is the actual sense of social connection, how the swimming group, and I think you're right there, Kat, basically we're all in our bathers. You're not in a dinner suit, you're not in your ball dress.
Don't have your makeup on.
You really are quite, this is who you are. And the other thing about that is, of course, we're going into that ocean under all sorts of conditions. Like literally the other day, you and I just got over the net, and the shark alarm went off, and we jumped back over the net. I mean, the fact is, of course, we're at risk in some form or another, and we're making that, but we're doing it together. There's something about, we are going out of our comfort zones together every day. Some days, you just go, what the hell many times, you'd have it as well. People go, you guys went out in that. Go, we went out together, so we were mad enough to do it together, and that somehow that bonds us in a very incredible way, doesn't it?
It does. It's like we've all got each other's backs in the water and then out of the water. And I know so many friendship groups have absolutely spun off, and there's so many groups that do various things. So we had a social get together for a number of us that have got birthdays this week at the hotel. And these are people that I met just a couple of years ago, and some a couple of weeks ago. There's always new members coming along because they hear about the amazing ecosystem. And like you said, there's so many major life milestones that people are going through. Whether or not they're open to talking about it, it doesn't matter. It's about coming along, being vulnerable in the water, and just showing up and being a part of it. And I know so many people that I've met. Like I said, I'm local around Cott, and people come up to me and go, what's this Podsquad group? I see you guys with your white caps. And one of them, Ian, he works for BHP in the same building as myself. I met him last year when he just had a big bike accident, had a big moon boot on his leg. And my first question was, so can you swim? Because in my head, you're not going to be on the bike for a little while. He now comes to Podsquad. At first, he was petrified because he's not a natural swimmer. Now he loves it. And we've had so many lovely chats just simply from meeting him on John Street when I took my dog for a walk. So
amazing.
It opens so many doors.
Oh, well, it's like, Jane saw Carlene swimming in the net a year or so ago, whenever it was, and said, you must come to Podsquad. Well, now, clearly, Carlene's Canadian. We are an extension, and she's going through this visa issue right now. It's a support structure for us all. I mean, I know myself. People say, you do it every day? What do you do it every day, mate? Because I think I'd go nuttier.
Absolutely.
If I didn't do it,
Yep. It is the motivation.
Yeah. And the other thing was, the fact that we created that little ritual at the end of the swim, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, high five,
Yeah.
and even the craziness of when I go, some days I'll do high five to 7 and then people, and then sometimes high five to 10. Oh, 10. It's not like I can do 3 more. It's like, it's just absolute silliness. But somewhere in there, that triggered me where one day I was training down at water polo, and Pippa Pedley, who swims with us, is in the Australian squad for the women. It was Monday at the uni pool, and at the end of the training session, she's gone, happy Monday, Leigh. And I went, wow.
I love that.
Here we are away from the group, but it was something that was, embedded. It was worthwhile. I went, wow, clearly it's touching people in a very special, almost primitive way, but it's quite beautiful, but a beautiful way.
Yeah. I think swimming really, if I think about it, in that environment, it can take you back to being like your childlike self, having fun, giving 7 people a high five or 10 people a high five, or doing the sand ritual, because no one's judging. No one is on their device taking photos or videos of you doing that and going, what are these people? Like, it's such a unique, and like you said, we're in this together. We're all giving each other a happy Sunday, a happy Monday, because we're all there to make connections and lead a healthy life.
Well, you're reminding me of one of the video pieces on I put on Facebook. Bryce, our theatrical person, just over coffee one morning, went, Leigh, joining Podsquad, it's probably the best thing I've ever done in my whole life. I went, what the hell? Really? Say that again. And I videotaped him saying it.
Right.
And there it is. He's, this guy, what is he? He's early 60s. I don't know what he is. And he's obviously done a lot of things. But for him to say that, it's like, wow, that's just fantastic,
It shows it's never too late. It's not something that you need to start at 21 and go through life. It's something that people of all ages and abilities as well. Like, we've got numerous Pod Squad members that maybe they physically can't make the 2-kilometer swim, but it doesn't make them any less of a Pod Squad member. Everyone's a part of it, regardless of your ability. And I've said that to a number of friends with disability. Actually, they haven't come to Pod Squad yet, but they're actually they're jealous of the life that I'm able to live with regards to the ecosystem of people I surround myself. And I said to them, you can come as well. And a number of them, I'm not going to mention any names, they're the people that look at their disability more than they look at their ability.
Yeah.
And I've said to them that being a part of North Cott Surf Club and Pod Squad has enabled me to live the life that I live. I couldn't do it before. I couldn't get down to the water, get in, get my crutches out. I need that extra set of hands, but there's no judgment. And if my friends want to come down that they're in a wheelchair, or if they need hearing aids, anyone is going to want to help them. No one's going to go, oh, it's a too hard basket. And that's what I've said to them. Everyone, like you said, everyone in our ecosystem has something going on. And for some of us, it's more on the outside than on the inside. And I consider that, for me, it's actually quite a blessing, because it's visual. The help that I need is often visual. And yes, there are always things going on under the surface, but I've always got someone there to help me because I need it. But it shouldn't take the knowing someone or needing something to get that. It should just be, you want to be a part of a group, awesome, come down, let's make it happen.
And you reminded me of, I love the Aristotle quote, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Excellence is a series of habits. What do you do repeatedly on a daily basis to actually be the best you can be? And clearly it's in and around, well, don't buy into excuses for a start off. And again, if people say, you're doing another solo this year, I say, no, I just hang out in the group and do the training the group does, and you end up at the start line. Because I'm hanging out with a bunch of nuts. We had 35 or 40 people last year that did solos. And then you got you nuts going, Leigh, in 2025, we're going to do the 20 kilometres. And then 3 weeks later, we're going to do the 25 kilometres. And of course, immediately I go, oh, no, I'm too old. But probably, if you push my buttons enough, there I'll be going, why am I doing this 25K thing? Because these nutcases that I'm hanging out with. But you just hang out in the ecosystem, and the magnetic forces you get dragged along, which will be, your friends when they make that decision. And we often, you'll see it on the WhatsApp group, we know from a psychological point of view, when you tell someone I'm coming at 5:30 in the morning, It's very rarely do people go, oh, actually, I'm going to roll over and go to sleep, because you've just told 20 people you're going to be there at 5:30, or you're going to be there at 5:20. So you're hitting the water at 5:30, you know. Kat, you are the beast in a very, very positive way. Folks, this has been a Leading Your Best Life podcast that you're going to want to listen to again and again. Kat, thank you so much, Dale. And I'll see you down the beach tomorrow morning at 5:30.
You sure will. Thanks for having me on,
Love
Leigh.
you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Much appreciated. Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.